Okay, I will hit the Parsha Chaverta. Alfi Shein of Rishai, even though it doesn't have permission, then Yatsi would still be Yatsi. The Fish Shein of Smucha law, the Torah is not really next to it in the Torah. The Mishnah verse says, Shein of Smucha law, Rotel it means to say, Shein of the Kamis Chacham, it's only to Kamis Chacham Shehem Shadur and Kafat, they set up this way. This is from alef, this is like Rava and berura, and look at berura, so it's not really that the Torah told you have to be A then B, it could be B then A. Commotion Amr they said, but it's except for the fact that it's the consequence. Commotion Amr they says, Lama Kadma Shema L'Bahayim Shema. Why did it come first Shema to Bahayim Shema? And the reason is Kadeshi Kabul Level O Machul Shemayim. Please know that you should accept the yoke of heaven first. Kabul Level Mitzvos and afterwards accept the yoke of Mitzvos. And they were in Makv with the Yevid if you switch them. Kar Pasha the Talmud, if you made read a Pasha and you made a mistake, and in your day you know when you made a mistake, where you made the mistake. You go in Shakara Kula, for example, read the whole thing, Zel Shadili Pasuk except he skipped one Pasuk in the middle, Bemza in the middle. Close of the Rosh, also Pasuk, go to the beginning of that Pasuk. But Gomer Pasha, finish the Pasha from there. If he doesn't know where he made the mistake, close the Rosh Pasha, goes to the beginning of the Pasha. The top you made a mistake, cut the precautions, right? So that's not taught, only if you made a mistake. But if you purposely made a mistake, and closed the Rosh, and did this intentionally, we would have to go back to the very beginning. If you made intentionally skipped or something. Kamolin in front of tefillah, just like we do by davening, like I'm a seven kafidal to zayin, and later on it's coming to kafidal to zayin, intentionally you have to work with it. Okay. But Magan Avram the Kam Simon Kavdal and Magan Avram later on Simon Kavdal to Sivkat involved. Bestav Guzay something about this. I shall look at. Simon Samachay is bar Davizabish Mishnah Berura. Later in Simon Samachay it's going to explain the Mishnah Berura as the Shem is bar with help of the Shem is be blessed. I shall Sivkat and Alef. Look there and later look there in Sivkat and Alef of Verlach and the Verlach. Pasuk Echad, you skip one pasuk. If you skip one word, those that say that's enough that you should go back to that word, you can finish. This is from Lavush Vikas Mishna and Vikas Mishnah. Umashi Kasavdi Im who came out from Vikas Mishnah, Mukak Lakam Besim Samuzah, Samhum, Magan Abram, Sivkat Gimel. If he's in a place that he is in a place where it begins a new topic, so he's in the middle of it. So some say that if he's in, it's enough to go back to that word and finish. In place where it starts a new topic. Kagon shadilik a pasuk, for example, he skipped the word vishinantam. Tevas v'dibarta. He skipped from that pasuk vishinantam the word v'dibarta. Avol b'sefer Eliyarav, but the book of Eliyarav, Echuyazim to Mikam Mishonim, proved to many Mishonim. It's Orch L'Chiach, so the only Rosh also pasuk. You have to always go back to the very beginning of that pasuk. We go my parsha, finish the parsha. The im yomer rak also pasuk that if you just say that pasuk, how will they call them? Afraid it's called reading out of order. But if you lo nizkar shadilik a pasuk in parsha rishon, even if you didn't remember that you must skip the parsha in the first parsha, rak at achosham magam parsha shachar, even after you finish the next parsha. Afilu hachli lam mashi yomer min hadilik atzov. It's still enough that he reads from the skip part till the end. Ha parsha rishon at the end of the first parsha. The state of parsha is in makom. He doesn't have to go do the whole next parsha, which he did right. He just has to finish the whole first one, which he made a mistake in. The state of parsha is not because the order of the parsha is not mak. This is from the Sharasian. This is from Kemash from the Gra. This is Mash from the Gra. The Simon then the Simon v'chein v'sader v'derchaim Simon derchaim v'pasha and that's pasha. The lokama Kaprimagan non the Kaprimagan Shem Stavik v'sev which has a suffix about this. The Rosh Parsha. He has to go back to the beginning of the parsha. Machma suffix because of the suffix. Afilu hay and said parsha shni even if this was in the second parsha. Afilu man the Amar parsha shni derban even if you say the second parsha is derbanan, still you would have to go back to the beginning and do it in order. The given the also for Kriya Shema, since you're dealing with Kriya Shema, Tzorach L'Sak and Nicole, you have to fix everything. This is from the Pri Chadash and the Pri Megada. V'im hayazeh b'parsha Rishon. If this was in the first parsha, Talib is based on this. Im zocher she'omer Shema be'ekavan. If you remember that he said Shema properly with intent. The gam bar shenk b'machasol yelved. And he also said bar shenk b'machasol yelved with intent. This is from the Mucha from Prima Vadam. Then you can just go back to the Hafta because you know you did Rosh Hashanah and you know you did Shema. If you don't remember that if you said Shema with intent, the close the Rosh without this anyway, you're going to have to go back to the very beginning. This is from the Beit Yosef and the Lachem Kambudos and the Magen Avraham and the Elira and the Derech Chaim. The local Rosh Taz are not like the Rosh Taz. He gave it since you didn't read it with intent, have it call it's as if you didn't read it at all. As the pasuk Shema, the pasuk Geshma. When Mela the tzarch cross kolpa zu a parsha, and automatically you're going to have to read this entire parsha again. Shelo yak I'm afraid there shouldn't be the reading out of order. Okay. The Yikra'ena b'lachash, and you should read it quietly. Oh yam tamar, wait a little bit. So either you could say it quietly if you have to redo it. Shema, because you don't want to say Shema twice. So you read it, either read it quietly, then it'll be okay, or you just wait a little bit. Shelo Yirah Shema Shema, in order that it shouldn't appear like you're reading Shema Shema. You're not saying the Shema twice, you waited, it's different, you're accepting the same God once, but just 2 times. If you wait. But if you do it twice, so it looks bad, unless you do it the second one quietly, so that's okay. Okay. Tabim Parsha, the Parsha made a mistake between one Parsha and the next Parsha. Shehu Yodesh Sim Parsha, because he made a mistake between which Parsha it is. Shehu Yodesh Sim Parsha. He knows that he finished the one Parsha. He knew there in Rishonim Shni. He doesn't know if he finished the first or second one. Goes to the Parsha Rishonim, goes back to the first Parsha. V'yaskov Hayim Shema, and then starts V'yahayim Shema. He finished the first Parsha and starts from there. He doesn't remember at all any word. This is from the Meibach. Which is said from the second Parsha. The Yomer is also talking, we didn't start the word Yomer. Well, that if after you already said the word Yomer and it's had the suffix in his heart, to lead in the Bistama Amar Gam Parsha Shniyam B'Kufir, we assume that he also assumably said even the second Parsha according to his custom, and he did it right. This is from the Prisha and the Elirabah and the He's standing in Mechel Santam. When you then in Mechel Santam, he doesn't know if it's the first Mechel Santam in the first paragraph, in Mechel Santam, if it's the Mechel Santam in the second parsha. Close to the Mechel Santam, you go back to the Mechel Santam in the first one. It's only when he didn't start saying the words Laman Yerbi Yimechem. But if you started saying Man Yerbi Yimechem, ain't Zarach the Zarach Nakabah, so you don't have to go back to anything because we assume that your custom grabbed you and you're gone, meaning you finished. If you're saying Laman Yerbu, the reason is because that's the next thing in your rote mind. And it's simply you said everything, and that's why it's the next thing in your rote mind. His rope has grabbed him. So, this didn't say Ukashaitim, Mishim the Yishav, because the difference. So Ukashaitim, we shown in the first Ukashaitim who become as a comment. Shulashn Yach is that singular. Vashani who besegel, and the second one is the segel. Shulashn Rab, which is the plural. Taz cost of Vodatam, and Taz is the second reason. The Torah's emphasis not normal to make a mistake in the middle. The Yukala Lahargish Lefiyazman, because he's able to make he's able to figure it out or understand, recognize it according to the time she hits the close they started reading. But if he's at the end of the first parsha, so he's had a little bit of time, so he may have had enough time to read the second one too, if he was really fast, or maybe just on the first one. Sheesh Kan Katzas Manoff is a little bit of a longer time. So if it's the middle of the first paragraph, so how long you have? 5 seconds, 10 seconds? You can't be at the end of the second paragraph, you're not going to have a mistake. Or if you have a long time, you're for sure not in the first paragraph. But if you're at the end of the first paragraph and there's a little bit more time, then Shafi Yokul the palm and the toe, sometimes it is good to make a mistake, it's possible. The Shamasim of Parsha Shneim may be fitness the second Parsha. In Miskil, if you started with the words Laman Yirbu, you assume he's continuing his road. Wrote Shlomo means to say, when afterwards, Penyam Halaman Yirbu Achar Chusafta. Maybe he said Laman Yirbu after he said Chusafta Shabhashar Shamas in the first parsha. Filu Hachi and so Chaz even still doesn't have to go back. The Mistama Amr Kafi Hagel, presumably said according to his custom. Lama Laman Yirbu Achar Chusafta Shnia, in order to instead Laman Yirbu in after Chusafta in the second parsha. Megol Shekin Talma Atzma. We get Matza Atzmo Bateva Acheres B'Emtza Parsha Bersurah if he finds himself in another word in the middle of the parsha. Chazaka She'amar Kol Ma Shalama Shalamalam Bizav. There's an assumption that he said everything which is before this. Below Dilik Pasuk Oteva again, he didn't skip the pasuk or a word. Ein Zarach Chaz, you wouldn't have to repeat. Kol Zaka Shekor B'Yachal, only when you're reading it as a single person. But if he's reading it with the congregation, when he sees the Shliach Tzibur standing by Ilchasatim, Shem Parsha Rishon in the first Parsha, also Amachlor next to it, Yasu Ilchasatim Shem Rishona. So he's in the first Parsha or next to it, so he should go to the Ilchasatim Shem Rishon, which is in the first one. The Muchamil Sheta Beluch Pelonaka Tzarchavazin. It proved the thing that he made a mistake and didn't take his customer and go, because how come the Shliach Tzibur is in the first one? He's similarly the other way. In moment we have if he's in with the Pasuk, B'Shulchan Aruch, the Chos of the Chasadim, Mishna that we said by when the Shulchan Aruch passage goes to the first Chasadim. In Rosh Shliach Tzibur v'Tzibur Omtim Chasadim Shemshi. If you see that the Shliach Tzibur and the congregation is in, it's already up to the second one. Al Samach next to it, and the fun of or before it or after it. Yom Regam Kenya Achakach HaPasuk Taman Yevu. You should also say afterwards Pasuk Laman Yevu. The Stamach who Karakam King Kashniya Kamosim is assumed he also said the second one like them, like the congregation. But Glam the Dover Ika. And there's like a hint. Evidence don't matter. There is that he is with the congregation. But then the machine obeys the bracha, and the rule that if you made a mistake with whatever bracha, mikafi ma shetavu la chamim. You changed from what the Chum set it up. Shekasav Hamagan Ram the Magan Ram B'Shem Ram and the Rambam Yavor. Okay. So what the Magan Ram writes about that if you change the bracha? Okay. Yavor and Yitz Hashem V'Simen Samachas is going to explain the Samachas Mishnah Berurah and Sham in the Mishnah Berurah. Look there. Okay. Kriya Seirugin, the Hainu Shehifkil Lacrosse of the Hifsik. The reading in intervals, which is that you start reading and make a stop. Bim B'Shtika Bim whether you stopped with silence or whether you said some words. Close of the gomer and you finish. If you went back and finished it, I feel a shock as a ligmar school. Even if you waited during the breaks to finish the whole thing, you'd be yotzi. Filo I have sigma personas, even if the force was because of some sort. Even if the break comes to some sort of forcing situation, you have to go to the bathroom in the middle. It'll be fine. I go up. Yesham dim haya honest. Behifsik as a ligmar gula. Close of the roast. There are those that say that if you were forced and you stopped and you had to go back. It was enough time to finish the whole thing, you go back to the beginning. Lucky no, that's the minute. Okay. David, whether with words, I feel himself amazing if he spoke on purpose. After also, Isra everything he did this or with this. Alpha PK even still. In Surah Chazer Rakla the Makom should pasuk. You would only have to go back to the place where he stopped. Okay. This is from the Amber Lacha. Even if you made a break in the middle of a bracha, it wasn't because you're suffering to Hallel or Megillah. Similar if you talked in the middle of Hallel or Megillah and you did it on purpose. Uberkas Advasan Rebekah Amazon or Sham Bracha or any other long bracha. B'dafka Kashu Omran B'Atzmo, and then you go back according to the Shulchan Aruch. Okay. Medafka the Shlomo Atzmo. It's only when he's saying it himself. But if you hear someone else is making multi him, who's suffering assignment, he's spoken between the brachos. Memela Eno Shemay automatically doesn't hear that part of the bracha. Basically, that's what Zach could be we're guilty of this. Before me, Hashem Lahalim B'Kolachar, B'Kolachar Mekomas can explain later on each one in its place. Like if you missed enough. B'Simon Kaf Page Gimel, B'Simon Kaf Kaf Page, B'Simon Kaf Page Sonic, B'Mishnah B'Ra, all those. I ain't trying to look that. Ba'im Be'alacha, look at the Be'alacha. Shekasam the Makriyashma. Not when she asks her parshas that Makriyashma it's proper to redo the parshas. Or the second one, Kishasach made it if you spoke on purpose. Yeshom the Tzarech has the roast because those will say that you do have to go back to the beginning. Yeshom that if you did if it was an honest that you're forced. Time is the Bishlam im lo hayon. It makes sense if you weren't forced. Hashem hayarot so hayachol that if you wanted to, you could go back and repeat reading. Lo hayavish tashtika afila b'dibur b'hefsek. It isn't the break, the silence, or even the words I break. I'm honest when you're forced. Hashiva ashia, this makes it counts the or it's counts the waiting. Hapsik as a break. Kimin shelo haya oz yachon across because he wasn't able to read that. I'm looking at Ram, look at the Magen Ram Shemasik. The dafkin ma onis hu machmas sheish eni roy. Only if it's because the man is not fitting. You go and shahutzruk l'nkav, for example, you have to go to the bathroom, or shamakam ein roy, or for example, the place is not fitting. You go and shamatzu shamsor, for example, we found their excrement, or meraglam, or urine. Shahutzruk l'shohus achos himan, he has to wait until he gets rid of them. Aval onis afar, but a different onis could go machmas listim kaigan, for example, some sort of bandits or stuff like that. Havi kamo sheshasak veratzon, it's as if he's quiet with the choice. The little chashiv hefsek with the edu that doesn't count as a hefsek because of this. So bandits, I mean, even though you're forced, but unless you could read, the guy would probably be forced. But there was no kisser. Only by Kriyashma Berasa and his brachos can I govern something like this. I will tefillah closes the rosh I feel on the soccer, but by davening you would go back to the beginning even with a different type of forcing need. The commotion is like Amos and Kavdal says later on in Kavdal. I am Shlomo Mishnah Berurah given Mishnah Berurah to cut and test up test I number base. Here's one test line. Keneling more in order to finish the whole thing. I know Rosh that is you go from the beginning so from the beginning to the end. I feel on yourself even if you're at the end, we don't say it from there to the end. No, we keep beginning to end every time, wherever you are. If you couldn't wait that much, that's when you have to repeat. This one here for him. Close, you go back. Goes over in the other, all this goes to be the other. Now look at Fila, only after the shows could more cool, but the you should not be making a break to finish the whole thing. I feel Shlomo was honest even if you're not forced. This is one of the problem. I feel just simple quiet, being quiet. I feel a bit of a shoot when they're money, but that's something which is only their money. When Birkas Kriyash, for example, Birkas Kriyash was from the Howell and Megillah Kagavna and Howell and Megillah and stuff like that. Kol Shkein, if you feel for sure by davening, Yesh Lizar, always I should be very careful about this. Because Yesh Mashim Mahmir, but feel I feel with the Yabba, because those are Mahmir by davening, even with the Yabba. And Mashim with Devi Magan Ram, it's Mashim the words of Magan Ram, the Chakila Nachal Nizar, Shlo Yinagain, it's proper that you shouldn't be careful, that you shouldn't sing. Atzibur Harbe, the congregation so much, by the brachos of creation, a hefsek, echad, kedelig markulam, and it should be by one break in order to finish the whole thing. They're all going da 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 da. Sha'azi sarchul hakal hefsek harbe the shtikas. Then the congregation is going to have to be very long with quiet because they're going to have to be listening to this kahal going singing, this still singing. I are the ones to this thing, to this paper. And then look how feel it's not right. Nearly the culture came to Yeshli Zar Birkas Kohanim, for sure you have to be careful by Birkas Kohanim, with the rights, which is the rights. Shlo Yarichel has the Kal Be'amirs Tachalunim, that the Kal should be lengthy there by saying the Tachalunim. You should be quick about it. But Yeshli Birkas Kohanim, the time of Kohanim, Shal Yedei Shoskin Gua Kohanim, because through this the Kohanim are being quiet. As man Harv Vamps the bracha a very long time in the middle of the bracha. And Machaz that told Lassus Kamosha Haris is B'Shem Agrad, because it's better to do what it says in the name of the Gra. Play Mashra B'Sim Kaf Kaf Ches. Sif Mem Hey Agon Sumas Mas Shivim Kafkas Mem Hey and Agon. Shiom Ragam Pam Shlish. You should also say the third time Harabon Shalom. Just say the Rabbon Shalom below you hear its own Haraka. Don't say the long you hear its own. Ki Vaharvi Pam and Matza Shein the Kohanim Nagadim Klal. Because many times comes out the Kohanim aren't really singing at all. The Rak Omdim Mamtinim, they're just standing there and waiting. Actually, Simon Wakal and Mirasu until the congregation finishes their saying. By days the Yesh for the Pamin Zman Kedei the Makul, and through this there is sometimes enough time to finish the whole thing. La'anas Kaddish Kedusha, and to answer in Kaddish and Kedusha, Motul L'Shos Afila Kedei the School, it's Motul to wait, even if it be and finish the whole thing, you have to answer Kaddish and Kedusha. A Mashra the Sefer Shulchan Aruch Shlomo, and Smashing the book of the Shulchan Shlomo, and yeah. The dafkim who only besofer echos emes v'yatzim, something that is at the end of emes v'yatzim. The hainu eitzel shira chadasha, he's by shira chadasha. We could let him besofer simon samachos as later on simon samachos. Avim adaylo agil shira chadasha, but if he still doesn't reach the shira chadasha, tov yoser sheyisha b'serugen be'emetza berachos. It's better that he should wait, that he should delay in intervals in the middle of the bracha. Kam pam and pachos mikanei leing bakula many times. Enough to finish the whole thing if he's in Kaddish and Kedusha. And you should say, no, don't have one break of Kedei Ligmakula. Just answer, say something, answer. Kar Serugan, he read Serugan. Vidat, you should know, the Das of Makam, the opinion on the Makam, the Huat, and Duadin Beskias, Me Tekios, Besimen, Tafka Fei, and similar by the Tekios and Seven Kafes, a Fei, Birkos of Muslim, and my Birkos of Muslim, Besimen Kafei Gemel, Sifab, V'chein Bahal and Tim Bahal, Besimen Tafka Fei, Sif Hay, V'chein Megillah Besimen Kafei Salik, and similar Megillah Kafei Salik, Sif Hay, when in Kol Sham Brachos, similarly all other Brachos, the bottom is still aside from Davening. If you've waited in the middle of it, enough to finish the whole thing, ain't no fuzzing about, you don't go back to the beginning. I feel why I have saying my only even if the break was because of an honest. But feel I'm shocked they link my school by davening if you've waited enough. If you wait enough to finish the whole thing, as I feel why I have such Shlomo honest, even if the break was not because of a forcing need, suppose the you would go back to the beginning. But that's Yesham, the opinion of the Yesham about this, the who adas Tos the Rosh, the opinion of the Tos the Rosh and the Rosh. The Ein Lachalik Bain Feel Shad feeling on him, you can't make a difference between davening and other things. And just like davening, you have to go back to the beginning to do every other thing. El Bakolda, rather by everything, and Shomach was only supposed the Rosh. If you made a mistake if you made a mistake, you go back to a pressing knee, then you go back to the beginning. The Bad Berkasamaz on aside for benching the low bob is very affairs because it doesn't come in its words, in the words affairs that it should be like davening. The decision of the, or like the or compromise or ruling, and that because of the Dakin motion is the Simat of Kavez is the Ladavar Shuv in Derbanan, by something which is in the Derbanan, Lavan made to feel which is an aside from davening. You could be makel with soker if and passing like the rip. Shalom the Rosh Afila Shamach was honest and not to go back to the beginning, even if you made a if you delayed because of an honest. However, the bush is the master of the Ram. Legal of Sham the argument in there. I had some there. I'm looking to Ram, look at the Ram and Tufka face. The master of the Chaz of Liquor is Hal, requires him to go back and read Hal. Believe Rafa, without a Rafa, Machlis Kashasha, as dark emotion, because of the concern of the dark emotion. The Imkain who had him in Megillah and so then even by Megillah. Yasu the cross of Beli Bracha, you should read it without a brachas. So you shouldn't, just like by Hal, you should redo it, but without a bracha, so too by Megillah, you should go back and redo and just not say bracha. Prima Gana, Muslim and Topper Sadin, Prima Gana, Sani, O Zion, Mistabik Sham, he has a subject about the Medlin the brachos in regards to the bracha. And Mashma Lupsitale, the Meister Kamagan Ram, it's not Pasha to him like the Magan Ram. Bim Kane, the Fizef, so according to this, the whole Davar Shu milks their one and everything which is only a matter of their abonin. You know, Gail, the Hashan Sham Bracha, if it's regards, if it's concerned, if it's if it's Nogea to a concern of a bracha levatal. It could come to a bracha levatal. There is to be mine if you waited there enough to finish the whole thing. If you own this bonus coming with a full onus, in the absolute she should go repeat it. If you go, she go repeat it. And similar is to be mine in regards to Kriya Shema, Shalafna, which is before it, or Shalaf forever or afterwards. Shehigam Kemidrabanim, which is also the Midrabanim. So if you have the brachas before after Kriya Shema, which is also Midrabanim, Given Shikavar his Kiyas Mitzrayim since you've already mentioned Yitzias Mitzrayim in Parshas Tzitzis, so there's no need for Yitzias Mitzrayim, it's all there upon him. But you delayed even Machmas Kula, but it's going to be a bracha levatal if you repeat it. Afterwards, I found in Nish Masadim, hey, Shemistabik, Lenin, Kola brachas, he has a subject about all the brachas in pain. If he's that sort, according to this, who was in brachas Kriyashma, so it would be by Kriyashma. Af Midak Moshe, however, Midak Moshe, Af Midivri, Derechayim, however, the words of Derechayim, Mash, Sav, Kulini, Kriyashma, in the fast in regards to what he says in Kriyashma, in Dinchas, Mash, the brachas Kriyashma, Gamkain had then come out of Kriyashma, the brachas of Kriyashma, also the rules of Kriyashma. Apple comes to who be Esam and Pasuk, Behilkos Hal, even though he himself passes by laws of Hal, Kamagan around the Yasin, the course of Bracha, you should read it, go back and read it without a bracha. Hulai Svirle, the brachas Kriyashma, Hishva, Rabban the Kriyashma, and maybe you hold that the brachas of Kriyashma are one equal to Kriyashma, and that's why he has to go back for them too. I'm going to run, look in the Magan Sifka and Kaf Be Gimel, Simukaf Vino, Osid Alef, Shemistabik, Lein and Birchas Kamazan, who has a topic about Birchas Hamazan. Imshak, Bakade, Ligmar, Kula, if you waited by it by Birchas Hamazan to finish the whole thing. Machos Onis, Imkos of the Rosh, because of some sort of pressing need, if he has to repeat it. Mahmusade, Kelubo, Gamken, on Sunday, Kelubo, Gamken, the Indian Madam of Warren, because of what they were made by him. Also in regards to what's explained in Semikov Beheskav Hey, and now, however, according to the words of Darachaim, which we mentioned earlier, the field of Birchas Kriyashma, even by Birchas Kriyashma, which is only Darbanan, the Gamba, the Yavid, Imatza, Tzoa, Kenegdo, Ena Tzorach, Chaz Dazvarch. And also by Yavid, if you found excrement opposite him, he doesn't have to go back and make a bracha. Can more b'chay adam b'klal gimel din gimel. Stay clear in b'chay adam b'klal gimel din gimel. Ein sham. So meaning even by that, but it has the same rules by Berachos Kriyashma, the same makelness which we were by Berachos Hamazon, that if you found so I connect the inner chaz the varch won't have to go back and repeat it. Come over b'chayaz b'kal kan gimel din lam gimel clear in gimel din lam gimel ein sham. Rachel speaking plus the Russian even so you have to go back to the beginning. Im kain kol shekain if so for sure Berachos Hamazon should be the rice which is the rice you would have to repeat. V'chein pasuk kam nish masadim similar pasuk in Mishna masadim kol hey din gimel. Tum b'kisha adam. Malcolm in a roy that she asked the road. There is Adam or Malcolm in a roy asked us when a person or the place is not fitting, then you have to go back to the beginning and jump. Look there. Haga. The emes of Magen Avram in a Mavanim, the truth of words of the Magen Avram not understandable to me. So Machos then established because the Tosa are Safik by Rush, the Indian is Paul Matsu so in regards to having praying and found excrement can opposite. Ulam Napolinian Berk the Muslim, it's not specifically Berk the Muslim, who is in the Kovan. Same thing would be by all topics. The Vad Kriyashma aside from Kriyashma, it's feeling. From above with the poskim is clear in the words of the poskim. About Polpika Yadua, and still it's known. So when you start this creation, it's not a break of the Muslim, and it's everything to be. Okay, and it's clear in the post. And about Polpika Yadua, she just does, and still it's known the opinion of those in the Rashli and Shaka, they live in regard to the length of the whole thing. And the Inam Soming Harif, they don't have the din rak between levad, and this din is only by davening. Hell, the who in the hell halam megillah the krit tekiah, the same thing would be by hal megillah and tekiah. Im shaka they look more cool if you waited to delay the whole thing to not finish the whole thing. Machazon is closer because of a press and because you're forced, then you have to go back and repeat it. And came and mela who hadn't bisharin so automatically by other topics. Well, actually, I shouldn't have be hard for the person who was delving into this. If it's higher ownership of Makam ain't right, how can you find an honest place is not fitting? But hold over should Levad Mitzvah with everything aside from davening. The female of the Mustapik Shulchan Aruch pointed to what the Shulchan Aruch has a Savik. Kishaberach of its Aisazoik Hangno when he made a brachon and we saw it was actually an opposite. And where also the Lord Rosette Rak the and they hold that they only said this by tefillah, so therefore there's not a problem except for davening. So how could you ever have the case which the mishna mention of the place in fitting? He said so is okay. Well, this is a barucha. The shama kavana la'achar sheberach matzah achar kach toah b'makoma. Because there is a mistake, I guess. But there we're talking about where after you made the barucha, you found that there's excrement in the place. And this and about this, they have a suffix to ulay lo nemer zadin rak in the Indian tefillah. Maybe they only said this in regards to davening. The gozer of Ahmed the tefillah away, but then they gozer and they said that that prayer is an abomination. Claim mashma levoshim and smash levoshim sharachonim and other chonim. Avol Indian kuliyam, but according to everyone. Everything of kedusha is also to stay in a place which is not clean. I feel rak even if there's just urine there, for came its own term for certainly excrement, and therefore you couldn't really do it lechatchila, and that's enough to say it's an onis. And from the this the end of the go. But now it's no further. The Birchus Hamazon, the Birchus Hamazon, the Machmirin, and the Chaz of Rosh is remarkable to repeat the whole thing. I feel b'shak they bein bracha the bracha, even by when you made a mistake, you would delay between one bracha to the next. So you came by open to Maryam Maganram, because this is the way the case that Maryam Avram is talking about. Sham over there. But after the Indian brachas Kriya Shema, even in regards to bracha and Kriya Shema, Mekil and Bizet, we're making about this in the Mishnah Berurah. Sham Shani there is different. The brachas im af wazu. The brachas aren't magid one another. So therefore, if you even by making a mistake between one bracha and the next would be enough. It'd be a problem. Even though by Kriyashma or Megillah made a mistake between one to the next and the next bracha. Shamtani there is different because the bracha the master was the brachas of Kriyashma and master one to the next. Masha Enke brachas the mother was not from brachas the master and close to the brachas same shtushim brachas all three brachas count as one. And before b'tzor b'sim kofei chas b'in tzor b'sim kofei chas b'shulchan aruch sof sim and vav. And Shem Avram looked there in Avram. In early passages, it seems to be obvious. Do it in Minasiyas Kaparim seems to be by raising your hands. Shaykh will call that applicable all this din. The shakadei thing markulas in finishing the whole thing. If it was delayed because of some sort of process, you need to close the Rosh Berachos Kohanim. You go to the beginning of Berachos Kohanim. Bashir the Ligmar Kula, Hainu Etzim Habrachos of Ashloshim, the measure of finishing the whole thing, the measure is that the main part of the brachos, Ashloshim, of the three of them, Mirosh Shol from beginning to end. Bliyam Arabon Shalom, without the adding of the Arabon Shalom. The here its own Shlomi Makal and the here its own Makal says, those aren't count. Even at the time when the Kohanim sing, when they're saying the Kav, you hear its own and everything. Gam ken yesh l'chashiv b'soch hashir. You should also calculate according within this measure of no, not a few. The abstract of Makomos, and it's possible in a place where the Menagim the Kohanim are singing. Based on Mezakal, when the Kal is doing this thing, they're not just being quiet, they're singing. So then you could you can measure also this in the measure of Ligmar's Kula. So it wouldn't be considered Kula, and this is included in Berachos Kohanim. They're singing there. It's our thing easier. Okay. Ben Medibur, whether he says words. I'm Mishnah Bur, look at Mishnah Bur of Masha Kazan, the Shakasu, who says, if he was suffering, if he spoke on purpose. I'm Magan Ram, look at the Magan Ram, some Kavdal, some Dov, and some Kavdal, the Mitzila Mustabik, that originally has something about this in the creation, regards to creation. Ober Chasar, or it's Brachos. After the close of the Rosh, it's possible you go back and repeat the whole thing, but feel Lo Shakadeling, Rakul, even if you didn't wait to delay the whole thing. I'm the Mustap, I'm the Miskanaso. So even if you didn't wait the whole thing you spoke, you would have to go back. Amnam can also have in his conclusion, Mitzadid Sham the B'diavad Lochaz the Rosh, that he asked the Rosh at B'diavad, you should go back to the beginning. The Nino who could shogig, we can be judged them like having a shogig, being a shogig, be given to Rova all the men in Isarm, since the majority of the world doesn't care about this, they don't know. Mashra the Mekomishon is to hear him the Ha'olim, but Mashra in place the world is careful. Oh, Amr Ba'atzmo Shiadeas, and then or he says himself, I know the rules. I don't care. There should have it like amazing. Then he's full. Amazing close the rosh, he would have to repeat the whole thing. And what if it's feel of the diet according, just like prayer according to his opinion. My possible them is the simon kofi gimel. Simon this is in truth with the possible simon kofi gimel. So Yudalef lit in your breath. Some other guys to breath. Some other. I am there. May differ agron from the words of God b'shem rajba b'simon kafdal kanal, which in simon kafdal was mentioned earlier. Sifei, b'sivav and sifav. Mash for the chos of the makom which apostle is mash. You go back to the place where you made a break. Even if you made a mistake break in the middle of a bracha. Memela who had in berachos the Muslims in Mela same thing would be when berachos the Muslim. You would go back to the place where you stopped. Nine trying to go back. Let me different ground. The words of the ground Hashem Raj name the Raj was in down. And now I'm with above. Mash the close of the makom shapas you mash you go back to the place where you stopped. Now if you look at the pasuk for him, so even if when you stopped in the middle. Okay. Emza bracha. Memela who had in berachos the Muslim, the same thing would be by berachos the Muslim, you would just go back to the place where you stopped. The after the Raisa, Machamir and creation, even though it's a Raisa, well, how is it more common than creation? Well, you just go to the place where you made the break. I guess it's even if you did this on purpose. Okay. In regards to miracles of Muslim rights, from this rule, the Magen Ram should hear from B'Sheh B'Sach, amazing is Machmer, someone who speaks on purpose.
The Chaz the Rosh goes back to the beginning and Sorach Yenidian. Okay, then your society, therefore, in my humble opinion, caution was last Maisa Vizek Divir Magan Avram. It's very hard to do a Maisa like this, like the Magan Avram, even if you spoke B'mezid. Also, the Tefillah Gufi Yeshabi Deos Ben Hashem, and furthermore that by prayer itself, there's many opinions among the Kohanim, but among the Rishonim, the Kohanim, the Indian Sock amazing about just speaking on purpose. And Minotaur Yotze B'Zem, Minotaur, you really are Yotze with this purpose of Muslim, no creation of because Muslim creation of Prima Gadim, and this is clear in the Prima Gadim. Okay, I'm just the Yavadi and the Chaz, therefore I said, Stam, you shouldn't go back and repeat it. Mikomakum Yanach on the Indian Parshas Kriyas is still from the regards to the Parshas of Kriyas itself, not the brachos. Yasu wrote Pam, you should repeat them again. Ava Birchas and Muslim, but in regards to Birchas Muslim, the Kosh Game Shab brachos will Yasu with Yavid. You shouldn't go back with the Yavid by the Birchas and Muslim or the brachos. Close the Rosh and Mishnah the by Allah is go back to the beginning. I'm Mishnah Berura, the Mishnah Berura Kan Hey. The time called Vorm, and the reason for all these things. I'll leave this for tomorrow. Okay.